Hello there, and welcome to Hammerman for today, December the 4th. Yes, I got it. Sorry, there have been like 5 or 6 attempts at that, all of which ended up being November, apparently. Aside from being dateally inept, is that a thing? It is now. Aside from having problems with that, oh my gosh, flawless, stage 1. What? That's right, today is my day. Well, kind of. We'll see. So yes, December the 4th, that means that it's 1, 2, 4. For anyone out there who has to do shopping for Christmas and celebrates Christmas, 3 weeks, man. 3 freaking weeks. It sunk into me earlier this weekend. I was like, oh my goodness, we're already in December? That means Christmas, oh my god. And to Amazon I fled. But yeah, it's coming. Anyways, first couple of levels. Sorry, I feel like I've got water all over the place and like rogue hairs and stuff. I just hopped out of the shower and I'm a little mixed up, screwed up, twisted up and up. So stage 1 and 2 pretty straightforward, you know, like throw down some defenses and stop them. And if you do that, you will win. Stage 3 is where it starts getting interesting, because, yes, it is a 250, well, like, rounding 200 Rifleman, 50 Zooka rush, and it is absolutely devastating. Just because all those Riflemen in front of the Zookas, they do some pretty serious damage. So if you're a little bit lower level and you're struggling to clear through that rifle wave, because there is a pretty serious rifle wave, see how in the middle all of those mines that I have are basically untouched? Take all of those mines and move them over to where your mines on the left and or right were located, and double up those mines. Being able to do twice as much damage in the same place to the Riflemen will mean that the Riflemen will drop faster, and if the Riflemen drop faster, that means that the Zookas will drop faster, and it's the Zookas you really need to get rid of. Now, fortunately, in stage 4, Hammerman, for some unknown reason, aside from, you know, he's stupid, drops all of his Zookas first, thank goodness, because once the Zookas, like, load up your mines right there to just nuke Zookas, and once those Zookas are gone, it's a Rifleman rush. There's a bunch of Riflemen, but, like, it's not nearly as frightening as if those Riflemen had gotten in front of the Zookas, or if the Zookas had even started and been able to clear out, like, 2 or 3 layers of defenses, let's say. Now, excuse me, stage 4, still pretty straightforward. Stage 5, though, is where things start getting interesting. I believe I had to attempt 5 a second time, which does not happen often. Normally, I'm able to just kind of like throw out the basic defenses and just let the defenses kind of gather things up. But because of, I guess, the targets, I had to be extra careful with 5. And honestly, I think it's because of those heavies and the healers, the medics, it turns into like a pretty nasty little jamboree. As you can see, the medics are already running over to the left-hand side there. Never a good thing. Always very scary when tanks get backed up by medics, because that's when the tanks get freaking OP. And then when you dump in like 40 heavies on top of all that, things can get really nasty. Now, the good news is I was able to burn through the tanks with high threshold DPS, I guess. So the medics weren't able to counter it, but even so, like, once those heavies hit my defenses, even with max defenses, they start doing some serious pushing. Like, I lost quite a few defenses. I'm lucky that all my machine guns and flamethrowers were maxed out, and I'm able to finish off the medics in the middle of the base, but like, it could have gotten bad, especially if you're slightly lower level. So if you can, maybe do like a distraction base where you split them off to either side. As you can see, stage 6, Hammerman back to the freaking arts and barts, man. That's right, that stage 1, that's 3 rounds of barrage on 3 different targets. Absolutely devastating if those targets happen to be sitting in the middle of your defenses. Also, you could probably see on the right hand side of the screen there, I do have my Shock Blaster 3 out and, well, shooting things as a Shock Blaster 3 is meant to do. And, to be honest, I kind of threw it over there just because I've got the tri-boosts, and I was like, hey, OP Shock Blaster 3, how can I argue with this? You know what I mean? Alright, I'll throw her over on the side. But seeing how far this stage pushes my defenses, I kind of wish I had just gone with the Hot Pocket. Now, if you don't have a prototype and you're looking at like, what prototype should I make? I definitely suggest building yourself a Hot Pocket. If you have a Shock Blaster 3 going because of the prototype Tribe boost, then by all means, like, you know, this is how you're going to be able to get through it with the Shock Blaster 3, but it's still not the best defense, let's say. Anyways, luckily, we're able to get through 6. Everything is pretty heavily whacked, as you can see, but fortunately, enough gets through that we can move on to Stage 7, and Stage 7, I actually mixed it up, because Stage 7 is really just an enormous rifle medic swarm. There are like 700 riflemen and a couple of boats, I guess 3 boats, or yeah, 3 boats of medics. And honestly, the name of the game is killing those medics before they get behind the riflemen. And this is why, one of the reasons why I say, like, if you've got a Hot Pocket, that might be the answer, especially this week, because if you've got the Hot Pocket, you can burn those medics down really fast as they get landed, and, you know, like, clean them up, because once those medics are down, as you can see, the riflemen just melt. Now, I'm sure it helps that I've got, you know, some damage amped up, rocket launchers and flamethrowers and machine guns. That definitely helps with the melting, but I definitely needed the Shock Blaster up at the very front, and the extra damage from the damage amp, which is still only a damage amp too. The only reason I really went with the Shock Blaster 3 is because that's the one that gives me the Tribe boost. If I was able to get, say, the Shock Blaster 2 Tribe boost, then I probably would have gone with that. Now, it's funny because the 2 defenses that are blown up beside this flamethrower, they were actually the target of critters, but I needed to get rid of them so my rocket launchers wouldn't get distracted with them, so I just kind of threw a flamethrower out into the back there to finish things off. As you can see, it's very handy because it took out a couple of those stray riflemen that would have headed straight to the HQ, and you don't want anything going to the HQ. And the finale, the gorgeous blast. Oh, so good. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully this has been helpful. Hopefully it's been entertaining. And above all else, hopefully you guys have a fantastic day.